What's good, guys? It's your boy CS back with another one. In today's video, we are going to be doing an end of week analysis and actually seeing whether this is the catalyst now for Bitcoin to actually lose its key levels, which is very, very surprising, right? So I'm going to go straight onto the USD T and C. So tether dominance and DC dominance chart combined. And for numerous weeks, we had been bouncing within this flag. And last week, we made an amazing recovery back into the flag and closed here, which was, a precursor for me to say, well, wait a minute. This was just a fake out. And especially if you remember, 75% down for Flowkey, Brett, and however many other coins got absolutely demolished in that liquidation event. That was the precursor for me to say, well, look, I think we might be on a mission here. Now, we have officially broken out of that. And unless we get a miracle within the next 6 hours and we close below let's just call 8%. Unless we close below there is an argument that the bear market has actually started. And if we come back next week and we backtest this 6.82 and then we are on our way up, that for me is a confirmation that I may just have to change my bias at this point. I obviously want to see how this candle closes. On the tether dominance, now there's a lot of mess here, which you can see. But we've been going through channels, accumulating, and then go down. Same thing. Flag patterns, wedge patterns, whatever you want to call them. And right now, you could technically say on the tether dominance, we are still within the pattern and we're breaking back into it. But if you recall, this yellow trend line from 2018, which we've always stayed above, and we only broke a few times during December, and then we finally broke free during July. Unless we close below it, again, this is a bit of a sticky one because we're in no man's land, ultimately. Now, the other precursor of why I'm giving the bearish analysis first is because one of my favorite chart patterns is the EMA ribbons, and it looks like this week. Let me go in a more cleaner one. We are about to lose the 20 EMA, and the 20 EMA for me, when Bitcoin is in a trend, is the most important EMA ribbon. And why is that? Because it is literally the catalyst for moves. So like October 23, we didn't lose the 20 EMA until July the next year. That's like a good 16, 18 months. And then we flipped back above. And then once we did, October again, all the way up until March. Lost it. Came back up, back test. And then now losing it. And that's the only bit that's making me a bit frightful. And as many of you know, I did draw this pattern time ago. And we just keep flicking off it. And there is a chance next week we could just drop to 96k, 95k very, very quickly. This is the bearish analysis that I'm giving you right now. And if we look at us on the RSI knocking on the door, we just can't seem to get out of this trend here. We just keep getting annihilated. And look, this has a lot of room to play into for the full bear market. Ultimately, this can go down here for the full bear market. There's no doubt in my mind that can happen. Whether it will happen is a different story, but that's where we as traders need to have our blinkers on and change our analysis. And look at the deviation on the wave patterns. This is a weekly now, and we've got another red candle, and this is something that Shane brought up in the VIP chat. And again, shout out to Shane for bringing that up, because you might take that very lightly, but every single time we've had these divergences like that, eventually we do get a massive correction. And in this case, this is not a correction. This is a bear market wave pattern, because this has all the time, like a good year or so, to go into 2026 and 2027. So this is not to be messed with and not to be confused. What I was hoping for was a bit of a pump on Bitcoin, more of a pump on alts, and then the bear market happens. But looking at where we are, and looking at where I've always said, like, I think October is the time where we just get a quick pump and then we're done. Unless we're going to get a miraculous pump now, I think we do need to have our blinkers on. Now, I've given you all the negative analysis. The positive analysis, where we could still get a big pump, is the fact that there are massive CME gaps right at the top of ETH. Like, ETH's missing, like, that's a huge gap there, even on the 1 hour. I've only done the 15 minutes just for you guys to see. But that's a massive gap right there. And then we fast forward a bit, we've got a little gap there too at 4697. So all these little arrows that are dangling above us, we've got a lot of room to move up, right? If I just go back on the, let's go 4 hour. We've got like one section here, a second section there, a third section there. So we've got like 3-4 gaps above ETH, which is, you know, it's not really a telltale sign that this is completely over. So that, on the flip side of the bullish stance, is where I want to start. And now coming back to the USDC T and C chart, what can sometimes happen is we could get some candles that, yes, we've closed out, but then we can close back in. So look at these, like 4 candles above. If you're looking at that 4th green candle here, the 16th of June, so you got 1, 2, 3, 4. Your prediction for the 5th candle is, all right, yep, we're going next to the 7.78% zone. That's the next target. That's where the bears are going to push the price to. On Bitcoin anyway, because it's inversely correlated. But what happens if we get, you know, an engulfing candle, a weekly engulfing candle, and we just head straight back in? And then we head straight back in, and then the target was going to always be 4.93 to 5.3%. We come back down here, and then that's it, end of the cycle. That is definitely a possibility. And in terms of the dominance, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks of green candles. Now, I'm not saying that next week is guaranteed to be red, but when the dominance has been rising like this so much, and we're staying within the track. So look at these 2 red trend lines. I'll go on the daily for you. Look, we're staying within this channel. Yeah, we looped out of this bit, but look at the smoothness of this. So if this tags 59.98 or 60%, call it, I'd be going for a long. Or if this is going to 59%, then sure, or just wait, because we've not come out of this channel. And really, I'm thinking if we do break out this channel, you do get another alt season leg, like one final leg of alt season. Obviously, I'd love for it to come down here, 48.74, but as far as I'm concerned, time is running out, and it's running out fast, like very, very fast. So where do I sit on the side of the fence? Well, honestly, I've got some long positions in. I've been looking for shorts. I did take some shorts earlier today, and did get stopped out on ETH. Where ETH is right now is at a massive weekly level, so ETH really needs to close above 4K. So in 2024, we can see 3 weekly candles, and then prior to that, March 2, and then May 2. So we've got loads of different candles where we never closed above 4K. But if ETH can close above 4K, I remain bullish. That's where my stance is going to be. I've got to stay bullish, because also the biggest factor for the bulls is the fear and greed. Everybody is in extreme fear. Personally, I would love for this to go to 95K. I really would love for it to go to 95K. But Also, I've got to think, like, what kind of damage does that do to the charts? Because what, are we just going to somehow miraculously bounce off this POC zone and then loop back up to all-time highs? It's a difficult one to call, but at the moment, I would sit on the fence if you don't know what to do. And I'd personally be watching this. Monday and Tuesday are going to be two important candles for me. Once I find out what's going on with those two candles, I can then make a better determination. Because at the moment, this is just a Sunday scam pump for me. I want blood on Monday or Tuesday. I want to see how the market reacts. I want a lot of liquidations to take place again. I want extreme fear to come back in. This just looks like the pump, all these fake pumps are generating so that next week, like Tau, for instance, is 10% up. The market makers could smash Tau 10% next week and bring the price all the way back down, if that makes sense to people. It's basically giving its liquidity, fake liquidity, mind you, so that people enter the market and then we can scam them and nuke them down again. That's where I'm at with it. Again, not particularly confident in markets right now. Yes, there might be some green and whatnot. I want us to go back into extreme fear. Remember, we can sit in fear and extreme fear for a good 2 to 3 weeks. Just remember that. So if we're sitting in extreme, like fear or extreme fear, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's where I would be taking longs at certain places. So like POC zones, as many people know, my POC zones are generally higher time frames. So when I caught the Bitcoin long and the ETH long, it would have been within this POC zone. If we nuke there, I'll go for like 101, 102. Okay, if I get stopped out, no problem. I'll wait for 98. If I get a bounce and then I get stop loss to entry again, no problem. I'll try 95. And vice versa and vice versa and vice versa. You're basically shielding and minimizing your risks, because when the chart comes down, you get bounces like this when it gets hit real hard. Do you see where I'm going with this? If the chart comes down real quick, you're guaranteed to get a bounce at some point. When that point is, I don't know, but you're gonna get a wick down. I think that was hit a bit too far down. Really, on every other chart, it was a 103.807. Yeah, 103.5. 104.1 type of area. This Coinbase chart for some reason is a bit too high, but every single chart basically hit into this POC zone. And you want to take the higher time frame longs if you're going to long. Or if you're looking for a back test, let's say Bitcoin starts pumping to 111 or 113. That's when you want to take a short and then leave your stop loss just a bit above. All right, guys, that's it from me. Whistle Stop Tour. We shall see where the weekly candle closes and then take reservations on what we will do on most likely Tuesday or Wednesday now. All right, catch